Can you hear us, Lee?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, coming through loud and clear.
I can back it off if you want.
Maybe just a touch. Hey, Jeff. Hey. It's everybody who's working remote.
You got that great sportscaster look. You might want to throw your resume out there a little bit, Lee.
He just needs an ESPN sign in front of him.
There you go. Well, it just it works well. It's a good system. So
Call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Statement of public notice, the agenda was posted at the town hall and on the internet. Roll call, everybody's here except Dan Gavin. So I'll take a motion to adopt the agenda as posted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey. Who was that did that?
Doug and
And second?
Chris.
Chris.
Okay, approval of the prior minutes of 6/6.
I make a
23.
motion to approve the minutes of 6/6/23.
Do your second.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
You were here last time.
motion carried. Okay,
Sure.
all right, Lee, you're up for what we want to talk about.
all right, thanks. We'll talk about the road projects. So the Holton major street project, I got a good update from Morgan today. She said the ravine held up well with the rain that we've had the last few days. Is everything working?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I should keep going here. All right. They will start, they put the storm sewer in the ravine. They will start down Church Street tomorrow. I guess there was a slight delay due to needing to relocate a gas line, but that was done this morning. So they'll be in to go down Church Street and keep moving along yet this week and next week to get that storm sewer in. So that's basically the gist of the Holton project. Any questions on that one?
Nope. Not so far.
Okay. The 2023 crack sealing and seal coating status. One thing that Morgan also mentioned in the same communication is that the testing company was out to test the chip seal rock for the project. They're looking at crack sealing. Last I heard, their schedule said they were going to be crack sealing and seal coating next week, which is good to get that done. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and I had sent a budget update to Terry. I was of the understanding that there may be around till 6 on Thursdays. I don't know if she got it or not. Was she able to print that and give that to you guys?
I haven't seen anything on that.
Okay, well, I did email it, but I can also throw it up on the screen here. Just kind of quick go through it. Let me let's see, share. So the host needs to enable the sharing. Otherwise, I can just talk slowly and somebody could take notes.
Yeah, let's see if we can bring it up.
Did you send that or did Kelly send that, Lee?
I sent it just a little, I don't know, 45 minutes ago, maybe.
Oh, I did see something come in.
Okay, I've got it here. I saw it.
Yep.
There it is. See if you can share now, Lee.
Oh, there we go. Let me know when you can see it.
We have it.
Could see it better on my phone.
All right. So just to go through where we're at on the project. So our total project budget for the 2023 road maintenance project was $300,000 in the town's budget. The construction budget is $270,000. The bid amount for the bid that we got from Allied was $202,870, which was obviously quite a bit below the construction budget. And we had the discussions about whether or not to do alternates, and we decided not to. So a couple things that have occurred since they've started. There was a lot more patching on Scott Road than we anticipated, and I think in some couple other areas as well. So the bid patching amount was $58,650, and the actual patching cost ended up being about $86,000. Let me ask, is this big enough, or should I make it bigger?
Nope, we're good.
It's good.
We all got it on our phone, Lee.
Okay. And so the patching overage to this point is $27,350. So with that extra patching, we're up to $230,000. So again, to summarize where we're at with the bid amount and the construction budget, and where we'll be with this extra patching, we're at $230,000, which leaves about $39,780 left. Okay.
Yep.
So the next thing to think about that we need to talk to the board about next week and get authorization or not is the patching and fixing of River Road, of those cracks and patch areas. We got a price from Allied for $14,703. So as far as whether or not that will fit in the budget, obviously it will, with the budget left of 39, and this change order would be 14. We have plenty of budget to take care of River Road if that's what everybody wants to do, which I would recommend based on the conditions out there. So that is for your consideration and whether or not you want to recommend that to the board. I do have the change order here. Maybe make that a little bigger. This basically tells you how it breaks out. So they're mobilizing their equipment and traffic control, and then their actual cost to do the repairs.
What do we need to do to River Road?
Well, I'll make a motion to make a recommendation to the board to do the River Road with the funds, the excess funds that are left over with the bids coming in under budget.
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded, any discussion, just to upgrade you, Doug. What happened was when they did River Road a couple of years ago with Seal
Yep.
Coat. They did some patching out there with, crack seal, and I was out there with Allied and the committee for, Stantec. And what they did was they didn't round the cracks at 3/4. They wrote them bigger. And then once the freeze thaw cycle happened and everything broke out on the sides. So what they're gonna do is go in and they're gonna grind it off and then re-blacktop it. Then are they gonna seal coat over the top of that, Lee?
I would need to follow up with that. I'm not sure about that part.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor, motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed, motion carried, so. Okay, we'll go on with the Rolling Hills Trail.
So we've been in contact with Farner, and they're saying, the last time I talked to them, they said probably towards the end of July. But we do not have a hard schedule on them yet. I will follow up again with them next week. After this week being the holiday week, I'll follow up with them next week and try to nail that down. But they're on the hook.
Okay. Anything? And you want to talk about what we're doing in Holton down there on Main Street, with the project? The dig out, or you want me to just update?
Why don't you go ahead and update that one, Bob?
Okay, all right. So what's happened down on Main Street in Holton, it's north of B and L on the west side, but a trail. We dug out 2 spots last year, and this year we had more breakups because of the heavy loads that were hauled from the old drive-in next to the drive-in tier. And so Todd is down there digging them out, and underneath we're finding clay, just sand, no gravel. So we're gonna incorporate the blacktopping and the cost into the project down in Holton. So there's money in that budget for that. So that's what's happening down there. So Todd's digging it out and he'll prep it. And they'll just come in, Monarch will come in and blacktop it when they do the first lift on the streets down there, Peterson, State Street, north, south, and Eagard. And so that's what the whole project's gonna be down there. So,
is that just bad spots that have been there forever or what?
yeah, so they're actually, I was down there yesterday and where Todd was digging, there's like 4 inches of blacktop, but the base underneath is the
Yeah.
culprit, so.
No,
So he's getting gravel out of Samstone, which is good base, so.
okay,
And then soon as they're ready to blacktop, then he'll come and prep it out, make sure that we're getting the right thickness on there, so. What's our actual thickness on blacktop? Is that 3.5?
3.5 is our typical road section.
Okay, so that's what we'll be putting in down there, so.
Yeah, and you may recall that we changed that a couple years ago from 3 to 3.5.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, thank you.
maybe a couple other comments on other road projects.
Okay, go ahead.
So, and again, I'm just talking about the roads here, but there's some things in Chapman Hills that still need to be taken care of. We were out there yesterday. We will be, letting the engineer and the contractor and the developer know that these things need to get taken care of. And if they don't, if we don't get a good response, we're going to have to look at other options regarding getting those roads done. Basically, looking at their letter of credit possibly. But we'll see what their response is after we hear. But, those roads were done 2 years ago and here we are. So
Yep.
I should say substantially completed, not done. And then the other one is we're working with White Eagle to get them to get their punch list done so that they can put the wear course on the White Eagle project.
They're paying for the street signs that go in there on White Eagle?
They're supposed to be.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything go up there yet, so.
Yeah, they probably are waiting until they put the wear on, I suppose.
Okay,
I don't even know if they've sold any lots back there yet.
oh, okay. I know there was some, something around the cul-de-sac on the east side that was milled off. So I don't know if that's what fits in with that. Probably fits in with that road, so,
Yeah, there's a couple of issues at White Eagle that need to be fixed up before they can do the final paving.
okay, all right. Okay, I think that's it. For you.
All right. Thank
So-
you. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
So there's 25K left over in the crack sealing and seal coating. Can we put it on the agenda to push that back over to the storm damage that was created late spring?
That'll be up to the board. To move it. Whatever's left for that project, and we have to see, make sure that we're coming in. Okay on the whole projects too. So, and that money can be, line item transferred by the board
Mhm.
for to cover that cost.
Because it looks like the crack sealing is gonna do very well.
Yeah.
Right now.
And so does that include your project out on Value?
I cannot answer that.
You don't know what? How much that,
Oh, it's gonna be. I forget what the estimate was. It's gonna be affordable. Extremely affordable. I can't even answer a number.
so. No, I
The
tried-
rental you're talking about, the split
Yeah.
rental, wasn't it 15 grand a split or something?
I think so.
Exclusive of the materials?
Yeah,
That's the number I remember.
Okay. So we'll see where we go on that, and then the board, that's up to the board where.
yeah, so some of the you know, estimated stuff was. The labor aggregate. Whatever you call that. Product.
Oil and product.
Did I say fuel
Oh, you
already?
didn't, but yeah,
Fuel for that vehicle.
expensive,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll see where all this money fits in and hopefully we can put some towards that. Tree stuff. So. I'll just update you guys on. Other road damages out there on 85th Street. Up on the north end. There's been a road undermining the road up there. Ever since we put it in. And. Every time Todd put cement in the hole where they dug and they seem to keep digging, so. What I'm kind of looking at is there's probably a badger underneath there.
Where's that at?
On 85th, when you get just about. Like there's a culvert goes across the road up there towards the north end. And
After the
just before
swamp
yeah, after the swamp. So you're on the straightaway towards the end of like 150th, but it's got gravel holes dug on both sides of the road. And actually the blacktop is starting to cave in.
Hmm.
So I don't know what we can really do, trying to figure out what kind of environment under there. Digging it out. Or you got any suggestions of maybe getting a load of water and dumping it in and?
Well, I'll go look at it, yeah, I'll go look at
Yeah.
it first, I wasn't aware of it.
Cause Teresa told me, I talked to her last night and she said that, she told Todd to go out, put some cones in the area where it's sinking. And
Oh.
It's not, it's probably about this far off the blacktop. where, from the edge of the blacktop to the hole. Where it's, it's in the travel lane, so.
Is this where you're talking about, right up here?
85th, yep,
85th going up before 150th,
yep, right in the butt here.
right there? Okay.
South of the curb section? Must be,
Must be north.
or north of the curb section.
North of, well, Bob is pointing out north of that curve that's in there.
Where
Just south
but
of
there's-
150th.
The east side has curb on it.
It's probably about, plus or minus 500 feet from the 85th,
150th.
So there's you'll see a culvert, and then where the culvert is,
Yep,
there's curbing along there
yep.
and right after the curb.
Oh,
So you'll see it. It shows up pretty good, so.
I'll go look at it, but I think the guy should probably just have somebody come in with a trailer slurry pump and fill that fucker up. Seriously.
Well, that's what I was thinking, it's like drowned them out somehow,
Well,
somehow.
I mean, literally just. Order
and
up
cement.
3-4 yards and have a slurry. I'll go look at it.
Yes, okay. And then one other issue was down on Walsh Road,
Yeah,
a few years back, once we put the new blacktop down, then Schottler was driving through there with his equipment, and we put up some reflector signs, we put up 5 posts with old stop signs on them, and Todd put those up. And go down there and somebody took one post out completely with the stop sign reflection, and also left the other post on the north, but took the sign down too. So I don't know if the snowmobilers tried to do that stuff or who it is, but
yeah.
we're gonna have to,
That's on the end of Walsh, just going into the Schottler Field,
Oh, I know what you mean.
rather than taking that, what's the road that goes to the north before you get to the end of Walsh?
that's,
Oak,
oh boy.
By putting that stuff at the end of Walsh there on the Schottler property line,
Yeah,
are you trying to prohibit him from entering his field right there?
you don't have a field driveway. It's not an access to the field.
Oh,
The
okay,
access to the field is off of what used to be 64th that they vacated, that the board vacated years ago, and that's where, and he can come all the way from the north and go back that way, all the way back up to Persake Road.
Yeah.
So they have all that access to get there, so.
or he could come off 60th too, straight across from it, really.
Yeah.
Okay,
So. Yeah. So yeah, just clarify, some of the things that I see and I'm seeing out there. And then just update you on the parsnip out there. It totally amazing me this year because at first we had cold weather, nothing popped up. I go out there and I've been out there basically weekly. And keeping control, talking to Lee from For Control for our spraying, and finally got them out there spraying. And guess what? I drove out there again, checked to make sure the parsnip is wilting from spraying, and there's new stuff popping up yet.
New stuff.
Yeah, I've got a big patch down in my ditch. And it's jumping over across the road, so I was gonna ask you, is he still actively spraying or should I?
On the north side, you're supposed to have sprayed that on the north side, but you got some on the south side again?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
So
is he still actively spraying or do I need to do
we
that?
will probably have to get them back in here again. Because we have a big patch down here. Counties don't seem to be taking care of what they need to do in their road right of ways. I'm gonna call Robbie on that and find out what's going on with that, because they should be out here spraying this stuff, because what happens when they don't spray, it's in our road right away, so.
Yep.
So anyhow, just update you on that, so. All right, signage issues,
Hang on for a second, Bob. I've got a request for you. I think it would be a good idea to talk with Tuma on that area out in front of Duke's farm, where we have the curb and we get all that debris that keeps gathering and
oh, the chickens,
well, whatever. I mean, chickens, whatever, but
yeah,
you cleaned it out once this year and then it got all cluttered up again. And then when we got this big rain, you know, all that rain,
Yeah.
it won't divert where it's supposed to go, and it's going down across Valley View. And it's really, if you look right there, there's a lot of road degradation there because the water's been redirected
Yeah,
out
we are-
over
we're
there.
gonna have to have him come out. and do
So
that.
my recommendation is, can we just give Tuma or whoever does that work just a standing order that when that gets clogged up, go clean it out,
So we should
keep it clean.
get it so that we probably have to dig out at the end of the curbing. Do the-
Yeah, he did do a little clearing. I'm assuming that the angle and the curb and
Yeah,
the off ramp for the water is working as it's supposed to, but when it clogs
Yeah.
up, then everything goes across.
but it's,
And then it starts degrading
Yeah.
the shoulder as well
Yeah.
on the other side of the ring. So I'd recommend just to have him keep an eye on it, just keep it clean.
yeah, so I'll talk to him about that. So he's been out there and he's after he swept Valley View, it ended up like that. So they went out there and did it again with, you know, they kicked the hand blower.
I mean-
And now it's gotten worse again.
Yeah, I mean, short of Duke putting up a fence to keep the chickens out of there, I don't know what you do.
Yeah, so. You know, that's where the debris is coming from. Those chickens are up there scratching down the old
Yeah.
bank, so.
Yeah, so it's a cement curb that goes around, it's supposed to drain down
Yeah.
into his ditch, it goes
So-
right across the road.
I'll talk to Todd on that. Signage right now, we have. So I just ordered stop signs, stop ahead signs and, what the third one was. Have some in stock. We have some, stop sign needs to be put up on 125th and 60th and, the 45 mile an hour speed limits down on Trout Brook have to be put up. And I have some we call it, not dead ends, but
No outlet?
no outlet signs up in the shop and we'll get, once we get through this, he finally finished up the tree stuff out there, so he's been working on this project down here. We gotta jump over to North Bay Road because those people are hollering over there, need their stuff done. So in between, we'll get the signs up and we have a lot of street signs that I ordered too that are have to be put up yet, so he can do that in between like rains or something like that when he can't do the other projects, so.
I had a neighbor stop and see me last week about the no outlet signs, Scott McCormick. He's on the end of 128th and he wanted to know what the timing was, and I said, I mean, he was one of the people that I brought it forward that no outlet on the end of 128th off of 60th. And then also 132nd Avenue off of 60th should have a no outlet sign, because that's a
Yeah,
cul-de-sac
so
also.
that's on my list to get those done.
Yep. I just wanted to mention that since it's been a couple
Yeah,
months, he
so-
stopped by to talk about it.
Anyhow, okay, let's move on to cluster mailbox, get anything on that,
Yeah, I did, I did make a few phone calls and shared a few emails with the postmaster down in Hudson. They handle our our male in the area. His name is Jason Schmidt, and I asked him who the growth manager for our area would be, who's been defined in the post office's development and builder's guide as the first contact person a developer would contact to put in cluster box units, CBUs. And so they don't have a growth manager. Jason is the contact person for that down at the Hudson Post Office, and then he takes the information and discusses it with people up the ladder from him in terms of getting those established. So they are very supportive of establishing CBU units because it makes it more efficient for the work that they do. Basically, they're all for it. However, there's obviously guidelines and stuff that developers would have to follow, or possibly even the town if it was in the form of a building code or an ordinance. I guess I don't know exactly how you want to approach it, but there is a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 16 in terms of units. And so however you want to approach it, he's the contact person. They are supportive of it. Thinking of our 2 cul-de-sacs up on Fox Ridge, we've got 3 mailboxes on the end of one cul-de-sac and 2 mailboxes on the end of the other cul-de-sac. So I guess I don't know how many cul-de-sacs we have yet to come, because it would be in future development, correct, is what you talked about, not dictating that everybody on existing cul-de-sacs go to a cluster thing. So there was also a too long discussion on, they say a resident shouldn't be more than a block away from their mailbox when it comes to CBU units. And what is a block? There's no strict definition to what a block is. Depends upon where you are. Block in Manhattan is different than a block in Stillwater, and different than a block in St. Joe's. So that's the information I have. You've got the support of the post office, but how you would go about establishing that, that's another thing. And the purposes are 2 different purposes. The post office wants to make it easier for the postman and more efficient for the mail deliverers to do their job, and we want to get them out of the way for the plowing.
Yeah, so it basically, if you look at a cul-de-sac where you're going in on the right side, you would want to put them on the going outside. Because the mailman comes in, he go around, he's on the right side, he's,
Well, he's going to be on the right side the whole way.
So.
I had one thought in terms of maybe coming up with a little different solution for future cul-de-sacs. Is there a way to design I don't know, like a small little area that where you'd put the snow, off the cul-de-sac, maybe at the very end of the cul-de-sac, between lots, there's just a pad where a snowplow could come in and just push the snow in there, get it out of the way.
They've been doing that
In terms of
on their bigger cul-de-sacs that we have
Yeah,
over the years. I mean,
but so I don't know what the solution would be and what the regulations are gonna be, but you've got the support of the post office for CBUs, so that's what I know. That's what I found out.
Is this been, I'm trying to figure out where this all started, because my job, I go to a lot of townships and it seems they're all talking about it. So
Really?
somebody's pushed this idea to the towns. And I don't care one way or the other. But I would want to number one, if you're gonna do something like that, it needs to be incorporated into design of the road. You need a place for cars to pull off, because that's what they're gonna do. Pull off and get their mailboxes or get their mail. The other thing that puzzles me somewhat is we always have an issue with driveways and plowing driveways. If we're gonna make a pull off for a mailbox, now we got another driveway to plow around. So something to consider, I think, if we're gonna keep discussing this. And it has to be a design done. You're gonna have a whole nother car lane pull off. And yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, like I said, I don't really care one way or the other, which way we go. And it'll make postman's job easier, that's for sure.
Well, that's why they're in they're fully supportive of CBUs, but you've got a 2 minimum, a maximum, I mean, a 4 minimum, so you'd have to have at least 4 houses on a cul-de-sac in order to.
And in
Meet their
St. Joe, we
requirement.
don't get much more than that with
I
3
don't-
acre lots.
I didn't go around, but I know, with the 3 acre minimum, you're only gonna get so many homes wrapped around a cul-de-sac, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would think that, even with our 3 acre minimums, that we would get enough houses close enough to the cul-de-sac where we could get 4 boxes. They might not, there might be a couple of them that are a little out of the cul-de-sac, but still close to where that, box is located.
What's the distance of the cul-de-sac spec? Out to out?
1 block.
No, I mean,
It's like a 53-foot radius, I think is shoulder to from the center sack to the outside shoulder. I want to say it's 53 feet.
Oh,
I thought
66.
Chris was like at 66 or 67 or something. I thought that number was out there.
Well, 66 is our standard right of way.
Yep.
Cul-de-sacs, I usually use 70 radius
Okay.
to fit all the infrastructure in there. Cause you got, and I think it's 49-foot radius bit, and then you got a 2-foot shoulder, so now you're at what, 51, not 53.
Yeah.
So I think,
There'd be room probably to do it.
But what if you put this mailbox cluster right dead center, right in the center of that cul-de-sac?
it's not gonna help snowplows.
Sure is.
Well, it is if they're going to have access to push it over a bank here or there. But the object of having the mailboxes, like, if I talked to Steve Smith, and he said it would work better to put it on the outgoing. The mailman comes in, he goes around, and the mailbox would be on the outgoing side because their access to off their trucks. But Steve said, and we'd have all of this area to move snow around. So that's the,
To
Putting it
me, I
on
would
the-
do just the
Part of
opposite.
our, goal is that when we're plowing cul-de-sacs, you're going back and forth and you're backing up a lot.
Yep.
And it's very easy to back into a mailbox.
Absolutely.
Personal experience.
Yep.
Putting it in the center, you still have the same problem. You're very likely to hit that mailbox. There are some cul-de-sacs where you go in and you plow the snow straight across. There are some where you plow half of it straight across and then you turn sideways. It all depends where the driveways line up. But for maneuverability, putting it in the middle would be extremely bad, except in the loops. If you have a loop cul-de-sac, it could work there.
Trying to alleviate that nobody walks farther than a block to get your mail. I'm trying to stay behind a resident.
but
I think a lot of people, if they were on the left side as you're coming in, they would just drive up to them and it would be on the driver's side.
Agreed.
You know,
reach out, grab it.
A lot
That's
of
why I
people
think
just
if
do
you're gonna
that.
cluster them for a cul-de-sac, it make more sense to me to put them on before you get to the cul-de-sac, so people can grab their mail and then turn in their driveway and go home. Otherwise, they're gonna go around the loop. Get their mail, go around the loop again.
I'm
get to their
thinking-
driveway.
Put them about 30 to 40 feet before the circle of the cul-de-sac. And the other thing that you would want to do is put I'm gonna say a 3-foot asphalt pad there when you pave the road. Because you look at half the mailboxes where they're on gravel, and that's where the gravel is constantly being pushed out from start to stop.
You would put it on the out.
I would put it on the outside.
Well,
You would put it on the end.
and then you also have to consider, each of us, I think takes the time after a big snow to go out and dig out their mailbox, so the postman or woman can pull their truck up and, I mean, you gotta go out and dig and get your snow blower in or whatever you're using. So you've got a 4 cluster CBU, who's in charge of keeping that cleared out?
Good Samaritan in the neighborhood.
No, actually, yeah. Good Samaritans are always nice, but it would be very easy to, because all of the 99% of the time, the cul-de-sacs are plowed out with a pickup truck. Because it's maneuverable. Yeah. So as the pickup truck is in there plowing out the cul-de-sac, when they come out, it's real easy to make a close pass past the mailbox. And most of the time, when we're out there plowing, I did not work for Todd this last winter. When we're out plowing, you try to get close enough to the mailbox. Especially if with the pickup truck. 'cause
Yeah, so you're not having somebody do too much digging.
Yeah. You don't want, this isn't like the city where they come through and you got a curb and they're just going.
So not ever plowing snow, Mark. I mean, do you really think this is a good idea? Is it a benefit to the town? Or are we just talking about?
I think it would be a great benefit to the town because people wouldn't be complaining about getting their mailboxes knocked down. The biggest problem with
Okay.
mailboxes. Cul-de-sacs is because we're backing up and they do get hit. On a straight road, the problem is you have the plow wake, all the snow that's coming off the plow. That's what takes mailboxes down.
Did you get your question answered, where this started from, where this,
No, not really, but
I'd like to have that answer.
I just know that, you know what?
Yeah, it was
Did you
Chris
start it?
Marshall. Yeah, he put it on the
I
agenda.
think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it came from 2 places.
I just noticed the discussion that a lot of the townships, so.
There are places where. Well, the post office has promoted it. There are cities where all newly constructed roads get those. New Richmond is one of them. When they reconstruct a road, everything along that road goes to clustered mailboxes.
I just looked at it, it's pretty simple. For us to have the planning commission put together a little. Piece of. Whether it's regulation or in the contractor's agreement or builder's agreement or something like that, that's part of when they agree to doing that. And yeah, I had came back with it from the WTA
Okay,
and went,
that's why then. WTA.
I guess my only reluctance is how many, I mean, we're talking about new developments and exactly how many more
yeah, and
cul-de-sacs is
that's
this city
where
gonna see?
that's where you get to discuss it with them, regulate it with them and be done with it, and it doesn't cost the township. It's new, we're gonna have new development here. It's gonna be endless.
Yeah,
So Chris, did the WTA have guidelines that, or are they just throwing it out there for discussion?
I cannot answer that. I guess I'd have to have. The. Clerk look into that maybe, but I felt. Cause we have an open forum here with the planning commission, Great Planning Commission, that they could do the. Mule. Work of. What we wanted to put in place, you know, especially with. The post office is on board, all right, we ain't fighting that.
No,
And
they're not gonna fight it.
I feel the people that represent us on the planning commission are brilliant. They could pull together some simple little forum. And get it done and.
Well, it would have to be. Put into ordinance,
Yep.
you know.
So, and then,
And the design of it would have to be. 'Cause
Sure.
some, you know, developers are gonna have to know what are the criteria and what I need to design.
And you're absolutely right like that, what you'd be picturing for a structure would be different than what I'm picturing for a structure,
Could
right?
be. But I also think that. There's gonna be necessity for. I mean, it's gonna be hard to say. Put them 40 feet for the cul-de-sac, cause I think. In rural subdivisions, there's so much variation in design. That spot 40 feet in front of the cul-de-sac might have to
Oh.
be something else. a
Yeah,
culvert or
And this
ditch
is,
or- And you won't be able to put your boxes there.
yeah, there's a big culvert there 4 feet around.
Yep.
Doesn't work,
So-
yeah.
You got 6 people on this board that want to put mailboxes in at least 3 different spots.
So,
Which way do we go now?
I guess Chris is saying this is up to the planning commission to
Right.
figure out. I don't know.
so, and you would put it into the road ordinance. And for, you know, how to design the cul-de-sac, I mean, that's where the cul-de-sacs and everything are anyhow on the roads, the driveways and. All that stuff, so. We want to go forward with a motion to the board to move it on to the plan commission,
Okay,
so.
I make a motion. For the town board to. Have the. Planning commission. Review. For the discussion and. Language for cluster mailboxes and new developments,
Cul-de-sacs.
cul-de-sacs.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, to review language and requirements.
Yep.
Did you say? Okay.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Name,
Okay, I can call it
figured you were gonna pass on it.
nay. All right. Motion carried.
Yep.
All right. Okay, next up is the discussion of a hydrant for the public works building up at, off the well up here. With the protective post around
Sorry,
it.
who seconded that?
I did.
Sure.
Yeah. So this would give, if we built, put a hydrant up here, we have talked about this before. Just that way when the tractor comes back from mowing, they, can get a hose and the operator can wash it off or it goes back in the shed or, just needs the radiator washed out or something like that. So it would be something, but in my opinion, probably should be put on the board's agenda for looking at for next year, not this year, money wise.
So that. I agree, that's a great discussion from a standpoint of. Digging and rooting around back there, we're looking at. Finishing up the generator project, so we might want to plan both them together.
Okay. Yep. Great.
So there's a water entrance coming into the building here off of E.
Right here's the big well,
Okay, well,
right here at the stacks.
Oh,
back up here.
okay.
So.
We seal coated this whole north wall, whatever it was, a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, all the frost break hookups are underneath, right next to the generator pad. So if we're gonna be digging, we might as well dig it all at once.
Okay, so it's not a fire hydrant at all. It's just a yard hydrant.
Yard hydrant, yeah. Self,
Water supply for the building, right?
yeah. So. Here you go. So, what's the status on the, generator? Is that approved already?
No, we're getting salesmen in, getting quotes in and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so we could,
So I feel it could be timed together. I don't.
okay, so do we want to make a recommendation to the board to put that together?
The hydrant?
Yeah,
hydrant
yeah, the
and-
generator
generator.
discussion.
So,
Okay, so I make a motion. From Public Works that we. Collaborate efforts when the generator is installed and wired, that we also hook up. A. Frost protected water source for the town shop.
Second,
okay, motion made and seconded. Any other discussion?
When the generator was approved, are you asking the same question?
I'm just wondering why we're combining.
Yeah, but
It's still in.
Well, the work, it's gonna require, this is just me, it's gonna require excavating.
No, I see. Killing two birds with one stone.
That's-
Okay,
Both of them, okay. So,
you got a second, Doug, right? You seconded?
I did.
then it's just discussion now.
it's like further discussion, and so. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
I,
Opposed, motion carried. So, all right, the request of the homeowner association group down on Thielen Farm, Settlers Way development. Are you here for that?
That's me.
Yeah, so you want to step over to the mic over here?
Push the button.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. and
Welcome.
Fucking phone.
got the minutes.
No. It's different.
First off, your name.
Give us-
My name's Drew. Largen. BAILLARGEN.
Okay,
I'm the Settlers Glen Homeowners Association president.
okay.
So we had our annual meeting and. If you know Settlers Glen neighborhood at all, there are a couple of large curves. That are on hills. And they get pretty dangerous at times, especially in winter. Where people cross over where they shouldn't, and so. There's been a lot of near misses and people are, biking and running or walking their dogs on the side of the roads. You have people swerving in and out, on these sharp corners. Especially on Thielen Farm Trail are the two bigger ones in our development that we're really thinking. So the hope was that we could strike short sections of those sharp curves on hills. That would at least give people the visual of, oh, now I am across the middle line of the street. I noticed there are some town roads that do have lines, so I know that it's not generally done on most towns roads, but when there's some safety issues, we thought it would be a good idea Additionally, we have several stop signs in our neighborhood. We have we have 45 lots plus all the houses that use our roads. On frontage road right outside, right out, what used to be 35-64 there is now a frontage road. So all those homes come through our development often as well, and we get a lack of stopping at those stop signs in our neighborhood. That's pretty scary moments at bus stops and things like that, not stopping at the stop lines. So we were thinking if we could get the stop bars painted as well at the stop signs. That would be a good thing for safety for our neighborhood.
So you've got through traffic, non-residents that aren't part of that neighborhood are passing through.
Correct.
So that first hill and that first curve is the one just when you're going into the development, just past the old farm, when you kind of curve to the right and go up, that's one of the hills you're talking about. That's the main one.
That's the biggest concern area. It's people coming on. You know, you come off of E there and you come down Dayland Farm, it's a straightaway. And people,
Yeah.
it's 25 there, but people go 55 or more there. So coming into that big corner.
Is there a speed limit sign on that road?
I know there is on the north end because that's right where my house is. I don't know if there's a 25-mile-an-hour one on the south end. Coming into the neighborhood.
I can't remember right off the bat.
So.
We should, I don't know if we have copies of all our old plans from subdivisions anywhere. Do we keep them? I mean, there should be a signage plan. If there's signs missing, we could get them back up.
Yeah.
When I go home that way. See if there's 25-mile-an-hour. I don't believe there is, but I could be.
The only, so is it your residents that live in the area that are cutting these corners, or is it outsiders or
Both.
what?
Both, I'm sure. I mean, we have an email group where we send out reminders often about, mind your speeds. We have a lot of kids in the neighborhood, a lot of families. So, mind your speed and make sure you're stopping at stop signs. And that'll help for a week or so, but. The hope is that if you have those visuals where you see, oh, I am crossed over the midline, or I am past where I should be stopping, that would be another reason people would kind of pay more attention.
How many stop signs do you have?
There are several cul-de-sacs that have.
One, two,
There's two coming out of cul-de-sacs, but there's a main one. Where Settlers Way and Heritage Trail cross, and then there's one where. Settlers Way and Thalen Farm cross. Right by Thalen Cemetery, there's a stop sign there that often gets run. And then there's one on the corner of Heritage Trail and Settlers Way that often gets run. So. We would basically be 2 or 3 stop signs. The one coming down the hill from here.
yeah. So,
Those are the spots that, when we met, the residents thought that would be a couple things that could be helpful. For safety. We have, like I said, 45 lots that are all houses now. There's no open lots, plus the traffic, so it's a pretty good chunk of people. Yep.
What's your thoughts as the president, that if you had the opportunity to get that stuff striped and pay for it out of your HOA and maintain it?
Well, that is something that we could consider. We would have to look at, what the price would be, when we have small budget. That we have for our HOA. It's not extravagant, but it's something we would have to put. I can't speak to, I can say that I think a lot of people would be for it. But I know there are variety of others on the other side, I would say that. It's gonna cost us money to do it. But I do think, you know. Looking at what the striping will cost, I don't know if there will be a ballpark number that we would have to come up with annually.
I think it'd be some. Homework, this wouldn't be your last time here,
Yep.
uh,
Fair.
striping as a maintenance. Type of deal.
So did we seal coat the road? You only gotta stripe it again.
Yeah,
I was just gonna ask if there's any seal coating in the forecast in the next 3 years in that area.
It's possibly, I haven't,
That was my question.
Yeah, that would be important to know before you even took the next step, I would say. I mean, if that's scheduled to be seal coated within the next year or two, and the expenses that's noticeable, you may want to hold off until the seal coating.
You know, how many roads are striped? Valley View,
Valley View, when it was.
It's not.
it was,
It
yeah.
hasn't been, it was striped and seal coated twice due to the screw up of the contractor and never got seal coated again. Rolling Hills Trail. What's it on? River Road.
Oh, yeah, River Road is,
That's the only ones we stripe. We have, you know, if you're familiar with the Bass Lake area on the east side, those roads are, you know, curvy and straight and whatever.
Seems to me Teresa had a pretty good idea what that type of work costs per foot. I remember her having conversations and she just rattled off what it costs and why we're not doing it.
So I'm just gonna make a recommendation to you, go back to your homeowners association and see if they're willing to throw in the pot some money to do it. And, you know, if we're looking at, and you know, we have a plan for 10 years out. And we have a plan on what we're gonna seal coat, crack seal, you know, periodically here and there. So, and then we have a plan, actually, it's called the Whistler through. That's, gonna be another thing that it's a project that we have to propose to the state of what we're gonna do. So, all this in conjunction with, you know, how things work out. And, you know, if you guys could come up with the money for it, you know, I mean, we have a lot of roads out here. We did in our last borrow, when we get done with the whole project, we'll have 30 roads rehabbed and reconstructed. And then 29, we start another phase. So, but in between, we have to get seal coat, crack seal done and whatever needs to be
yeah, I don't
done.
know.
So,
yeah.
So,
Century.
What's the amount of years you traditionally take the road? Is it once every time?
It's going to
Chip
depend,
seal, or is
it's going to depend on traffic. Typically, the roads that we have striped have been the high traffic roads. But it'll last 3 years.
So we were looking at it, you know, in ballpark.
so we're looking at,
Trying to do this.
so we're looking at like a low volume road. You know, like your area, which park, or Lady or whatever. At anywhere between 5 and 7 years of seal coating. So, you know, that's what you're looking at, but from, I think, the last time that was seal coated down there. Somewhere around 14 or 15. So, you know.
8-9 years ago.
Yeah, if it's in just looking at our plan for the next 10 years, which Stanton did for us. We're looking at, if your road's rated a 7, it's time to get seal coat. Unless it starts deteriorating, you know, so. So I would suggest, just go back to your people and talk to them and see if you can, are you
See, and I think we'd be willing to, it's just a matter of how much it would be every 3 years.
Would you say, Chris?
So I'll share with you, I'll help you away from here on this thing, since you're the president of it for the HOA. The two representatives that would represent you striping a Century. And Matson does the striping around here. And you could, with your authority as the HOA, you can invite them out and get an estimate from them, then you'd hold that estimate, then you'd have an idea for your homeowners to have a discussion. And then contact me or contact the clerk. We'd have an answer for you from our engineering company on when we are looking at seal coating that, okay? We're away from that information tonight.
Okay.
Mhm.
all right,
So,
thank you for coming.
Appreciate you guys' time, thank you.
don't go.
Okay.
I want to pull you into our next item.
Okay.
And then I'll talk to you after the meeting if you can stick around.
Okay, traffic studies. No, that's yours.
See?
Your traffic, your boxes
Okay.
haven't been out of the shed all year.
No, well, I'm looking for a place to do traffic study.
There you go.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah,
Get those speed, so I can get traffic volume and speed broken down hourly. You'll love his graphs. Play with the numbers, make nice pretty graphs. So you can see what's going through your subdivision.
Yeah.
I normally put it on the road for 5 to 7 days, so I can get a good picture of weekdays versus weekends. And if you can stick around, unless anybody has an objection.
I think that's brilliant.
It's a great idea.
that'd be a good idea.
You and I can plan where to put them after the thing. After the meeting tonight.
Okay, sounds good.
So I take your, Mark, if you're gonna do,
I'm
you know.
curious about one thing
Inland
though.
Farm going in. And do 20th coming out. So that gives us a amount of traffic that comes in from on 20th Street back over your subdivision and what comes in from the west.
Yep,
But that would give us you know, how many people use 20th to get in and out and how many come off the other way, so.
The spots I'm thinking of, that may be my summer project.
Yeah.
With all the spots going through there, because we don't have anywhere else right now. And I want to stay away from where they're mowing ditches.
Yeah.
Do you think the through traffic got worse since the new 64 got put in?
I don't see how.
I would say. No, but there, I mean, there are. It almost seems just many Minnesota places. But I don't know where they're going.
Yeah, what the.
Yeah.
So,
Looking for that house for sale.
I remember laying out that subdivision and making those roads curvy and putting all the stop signs in for a reason. And that was the reason, to try and discourage through traffic, but obviously don't work.
well, I'm the chair of Public Works, so I travel the roads out here periodically, actually, every Tuesday I'm down at 8 o'clock, I'm down at Holton. With a meeting with the contractors and whatever. So I'll run through there next week and see where see what speed limits are. In those areas and, I can kind of. See if. We'll see if we can find a plan from years ago.
Can't have one here, I might find one.
You might have one.
They have a pretty good archive.
Yeah.
I'll bet
Okay.
you do.
More than all of the.
Except for building through all of the.
So, okay, let's move on to pothole repair. Pretty much all caught up except North Bay Road. We need to, and periodically, might come across one or two here up in my travels. So got that done. We need some shoulder repair on some of the hills because of the washouts, but being that we're a little behind with, the projects since the spring storm took a lot of our time up. Gravel road maintenance all done. Speedy did that, did a good job. It's holding up real good. Mowing and clearing ditches, right now, our mower is broke down, so.
So that's a great conversation. You guys all should take the time to walk out there and look at how that broke what I would determine is called the main body of where it turns. That is compromised hanging off of the frame. I feel that needs to be replaced. Kneel down and look underneath and see how that was engineered and welded and broke clean off. This is me talking here. If I would have built that should have had a face on it with bolts. The other piece should have had a face on it. And it should have been bolted together and not that welding that you saw. It's, yes, I feel that I'm speaking correctly. Go look at it. Anyways, moving on to this week's events.
Anybody?
The implement dealer that we bought the tractor from is not part of it. Talked to Diamond, the man that sold us the mower. He's got to move it up the chain at Diamond. I had told him, and I'm sharing with you how I spoke, was that tractor needs to be loaded up, transported to Diamond and dealt with professionally. I am not gonna tolerate any welding on it, any fabricating on it. The main body of it is compromised. You can go out there and see the ears are fatigued, the paint is fatigued, the weld is fatigued on the main body where the arm moves. If that was my piece of equipment, they'd be loading it up and taking it to Diamond and we'd have a discussion. Higher ups at Diamond have not contacted me. I'm gonna give it till next week and then I'm gonna move on to probably having our chair or attorney take over from here because go look at it. I feel this is nothing we did as operators. It clearly broke right off in one crack.
So with that being said, there's mowing to be done out there yet. Is there services that we can hire to take care of our town? While that tractors and mower is gonna get taken care of, what about the residents of St. Joe right now, today, tomorrow?
As far as mowing goes, this is me speaking. It's one of an issue and I don't feel it's an imminent risk that we don't mow. As far as finding a sub to do that, I have not thought of that and I didn't know the expense of it.
Do we have, so putting this back on Diamond and,
Well, go
Where?
look at it.
well, I don't know where Diamond would do the repair. If they said, yeah, we'll take care of it, don't worry about it. I don't know where it goes, how long it would take. Do we have a plan B if Diamond isn't cooperating?
Yeah. New,
Just buy a new one.
this is just me, right? But
How big is that part? Are we talking? a
I
whole-
don't have the file in front of me. It was like 30,000, I think.
Oh, okay, that's significant. So it's that's the whole piece, right?
Yeah, and here's what's fun with me. As a group, do we really want to put another diamond on our tractor?
No,
Needs to go to a fabricator right now. I mean, my brush mower broke bed. I took it over to Flexo Sweep over to Richmond to really put some freaking backbone to it in the wear areas. This is similar, but you're saying fatigue and part breakage. It's more than a fabricator, what you're saying. The mower deck is
You go
inadequate
look
for
at
what it does.
No, you
does it have a value as it sits right now? You take it off the tractor, does it have a value?
junk?
Really?
You know, that's why I'm sharing this with you is. From a professional point of view is. We'll see if they stand up to it or if they ignore me. And. So I'm just sharing with you that. I have a track in my mind of. I allowed the 4th of July to pass by, everybody gathers back up in the chicken coop at
Yeah.
Diamond. And then let's see if somebody contacts me,
Where are they out of? Where is Diamond based? I don't
the
know.
Dakotas,
Oh,
that our tractor. Went over there, got assembled, brought back, given to us. So I look at. You welded that on there. That was put on there. None of us touched it. And back to like. Me, I'm not gonna weld on it because I don't wanna wear shit. Okay? It needs to be done professionally or needs to be replaced professionally.
they're a stand-up company, right? Good reputation. I mean,
Yeah, and like I said, I'm just being forthright with sharing with
No.
you. I got phone calls and we'll see if next week
Yeah.
gets better.
well, if they're a good company, they'll do what they need to do. I
You
would
also,
think.
you also need to take into account the design screw up that they made on those wheels. When they put the wheels on, the rear wheels on that tractor, and what we had to do to fix that.
Yeah.
That was at least something that we were able to do.
Yeah.
That
Somerset,
Wouldn't-
Somerset just bought a new John Deere with the
Tiger.
Tiger mower on it, and when the boys have her back at the shop up there, I'm gonna go see what they had, Tiger's got underneath their belly of their, if it's the same setup or. And back in the day. I'm sure that's a pretty good job. Back when we started with mowing the ditches with the boom mower, for 2 years, we rented from Tiger, the whole unit, tractor and the mower. And then we bought, but in the whole 20 years that we had that tractor and more, we never had an issue like this. So
Of course, that mower was only a 3-foot mower versus the 5-foot mower we have now, so there's probably half the weight. But on a side boom.
Oh, I got this.
You're asking us to do an awful lot. You are in every type of situation. Whether it's rod or a fence post or a stump, or it's gonna be abused. That's what it's made for, right? That thing better stand up or I'm gonna go
Oh, yeah.
stand on somebody's chest. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that clearly broke her, clean off.
I got the cutest videos sitting at the intersection of the park and when he was down right outside the park entrance there and it's like, he's absolutely baptizing that machine. I mean. Oh. It's broke. I don't need to go look at it, but so.
When I looked at it tonight, I was shocked at how small those runners are that go across underneath the chassis.
Yeah. That's too bad.
So I don't know if there's an option to rent the tractor with the mower on it. From Diane. Or from, you know,
I'll get you some answers. I'll get some answers.
or maybe we go to Tiger and say, can we rent one for you guys?
Okay.
And then throw the drill back in their face.
No, or demo something.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so. Being that, moving on, there'll be no more grinding with the forestry head, so. Guess that takes care of that issue. And, so. Any other work needed, I think we're. Pretty much on status quo right now, So Todd could finish up what he was doing down Holton today and then he's moving on to Park Bay next week to start doing some of that stuff. In between, he's got some truck issues. Then he sends his crew out to do patching here and there, so. And seal coating will start next week and if anybody takes a little trip down to Burkhart, go down Scott Road and see what we did there. They did come in and ground out all the holes that, because it was only the thin stuff that moved off, so they ground it all out and they blacktopped it. Now they'll come in and seal coat over the top of it. So
I drove down that this weekend, Bob, and I was wondering, seemed like some of those smaller little chunks that came out, like they didn't touch them at all.
yeah, I think that they probably didn't do that because they're probably gonna throw a little patch over and then seal coat over the top, compact it, so I think like. Hopefully.
And I assume they were just gonna get bigger if you don't. fix
Yeah,
it.
yeah, so they'll take care of that, so. Anyhow, so moving on from there, the completion of work orders, Todd just finished up the tree stuff and got that done, tractor and equipment made, maintenance, we'll bypass that one for now. Yeah. Any other maintenance issues, we're good on those. So if you wanna just read your bills and expenditures for the previous month. See where we're at. So. What? Okay. Yeah. Winter's done.
So Chris, your guys are going out and picking up the junk in our ditches now.
What?
I see fossil septic dresser, refrigerator, garbage, sheet rock disposal. Are you guys
Oh,
picking that up?
They
or
bring
is
it up to the transfer station.
Todd is picking it up?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
Or is that
just curious.
so what was it?
Unless you want to take it to Star Prairie and throw it in there.
No, I was just wondering who was actually going out and pulling the stuff out of the
Todd
ditches.
is.
Okay,
Todd doesn't, then he takes it,
yeah,
whatever garbage there is.
In fact, what's fun now is that people throw this shit out. You just call a deputy, they come to the transfer station, we dig through it and find your name.
Yep.
And start the process.
yes,
The first lot that's east of 60th on the south side of the road that's still in the pines there on First Lake Road.
okay,
Right, there's a small lot in there, a little field driveway. When Total did that, they just left a little in for the drive or whatever.
yeah.
You noticed?
Oh.
Somebody backed in there and just frickin' dumped.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? Come on.
Yep, yep.
I mean, I'm sure you can go through there and find a name. But that's right around the corner from my house. You're too lazy. No, I'm just gonna throw all this stuff right in that long grass.
Yeah. Hey, Rick,
No,
We used to have people that would come here, we just come in here at night and take their garbage and put it in our dumpsters here.
oh, yeah.
We
Then we
just
put
had
up-
it.
then we put the cameras
They just
up.
Prosecuted a guy because he came to my transfer station, I had cameras everywhere. And my mom runs the scale, right? Anyway, she tells him what it's gonna cost and it's all shingle, big dump trailer full of it. He backed down off of it. First time in my life, everybody's like, that's too much. And whatever, well then, here they went down the road back in the sticks back there. Well, a neighbor saw it and they went. Let's come see him. And here I had. The guy, the plates, the truck, and it was beautiful.
Yes, as it should be, right? I'm putting you up against the wall. Absolutely.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
Did you get to load it back up by hand?
I don't know whatever happened to Matt. What made me chuckle was. And when the, everybody knows me, so they come up and go, would you have this information? Click the mouse and drag it back to, here you go. And then he just. Did use it for
Oh, boy.
prosecution.
Yeah, boy.
I'm like, that's where technology pays off.
You know, Alice's restaurant is running through my mind right now.
You know, and people don't respect anything anymore. People that were watching fireworks off the New Bridge and shooting off whatever, she were right over the side, right next to the traffic lane. I go to University of Minnesota, I just came through there yesterday again. On Stella University, there's a guy sits in a wheelchair and there's 4 other people sit there with their signs. That intersection is the piggiest, I mean, they probably could go to your place and bring a truckload over there and they might just dump it there because that's what it looks like, you know. So, but
Let 'em get away with it.
yeah, city lets them get away with it, you know. So anyhow, anybody got any questions on the finance stuff?
Nope.
Okay, hear none. We'll move on to public comment. Anybody has anything for public comment or we'll move on to our next date, which would be set that up, Mark,
Next day will be August 1st.
August 1st. Okay. Good. Right.
Items for Concord agenda, we made, I think, 3 motions tonight, all for. Try that again, I have some items for town board agenda, we made 3 motions tonight, all will go to the town.
All right. Oh, anyhow, motion to adjourn,
Make a motion to adjourn.
7:27. 8.
Need a second?
Second.
After they
Motion made,
shut
seconded.
this off, you want my phone number?
7:28.
7:28.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, have a nice month. Whatever's left to it.
So it's 715 497 5929.